Welcome again. So success so far has seen us do both of these two questions here. And now we're ready to start preparing to get on with this 25 marker about the Convention of Individual Ministerial Responsibility. So that's our plan for the day. Let's start with a bit of retrieval though. Here we go. So what can you remember about parliamentary scrutiny? We're looking for a brain spill. So as much as you can get on about parliamentary scrutiny on one side of paper. To help you along with this, we have de la Soul. Yes, indeed. Have a look for this one. The classic 3, it's the magic number. Okay, so actually give you enough time. See how much you can get in there. There's a clue, obviously, in the song. I hope you paused. You're supposed to. So, here we are. What did you remember? You got here, first of all, questions. Questions, you may have got PMQs in there, but did you get urgent questions too? If you don't, go and check out your notes again, find out some statistics about urgent questions, improve what you've got there. Ministerial questions we know happen every day. PMQs is just one example of that. Secondly, you may have got departmental select committees down there, but did you remember House of Lords too? Did you put in about how they're composed, how the chairs are selected, the levels of impact? Can you remember the statistics on this? This is what we need in terms of our memories on select committees. And finally down here, hopefully you put about debates and e-petition debates. Opposition debate days obviously exist, but did you put about German debates? And if you can't remember anything about German debates, look it up. All right, so you can have examples of these. So if you haven't, a good useful use of time, a little bit of revision on these different areas, develop your diagram a little bit more than it is at this present time. Okay, let's move on. So here's our question. The Convention of Ministerial Responsibility is no longer relevant in modern government. So we need to understand where that's coming from. Well, what we do is we always define what it means. So the Convention says a minister is accountable for the actions of the department. An unwritten constitutional convention that should lead to ministerial resignation if problems occur. They should be taking responsibility. The question is, why is that now a discussion? Well, the formal constitutional model says that ministers should be accountable. They're the elected ones, and therefore the civil servants are only there to support the ministers in making those decisions. When things go wrong, the ministers should be stepping up because they're the ones who are accountable to Parliament. However, what evidence shows is that ministers are increasingly reluctant to resign or be held accountable for their department's role. Secondly, as we know, policy making is much more complex. The minister to take full responsibility would have to therefore be in full control of every decision. But we know there's a whole range of different influences that impact upon a minister when they make decisions. So is it realistic that they should take full responsibility? And finally, what we're finding is civil servants are no longer as anonymous as they used to be. They're much more in the public headlines, and as a consequence, the convention itself seems a little bit blurred around the edges. These are reasons why there's a debate around this particular question. That's what we need to find out a little bit more about. So today is about research. So to do that, we need to use the right sort of article. So get your booklet out. There we go. And we need this one. It's a favorite with Norton. You've already used this article once when you're doing about different principles. The context of this article is his discussion of Peter Riddle's bit of research that he did. Riddle concerned about the changing relationship between ministers and civil servants, certainly in the context of Francis Maude, who is a Tory MP who is working within the Cabinet Office under Cameron. Most concerned about the civil service was about the level of accountability they had and whether or not that needs to change. And the civil service reaction to this is something that McNaughton discusses. This is really good, and you need to read the article. These examples that are in boxes 3 and 4 are excellent, so make sure you read those. And if you can, dig into a little bit more by doing your own research on Google. And then at the bottom here, it talks about special advisors. The article's good on this, and it introduces a man called Dominic Cummings when he was working in education with Gove. I'm surprised there that he's moved slowly through the processes. Okay, so that's your main bit of research, and that will give us the context in which to have a discussion after Easter. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be taking on this question after Easter. To do that, we need a recap on the two different models, how they impact upon the question. We're going to talk more about special advisors, and we're going to consider why the convention is perhaps a little bit too simplistic. You'll notice, if you're following my Twitter, which you should be, that I put a number of articles on there about ministerial resignations or pressure for ministerial resignations when they're a little bit reluctant. Have a look at those, okay? I'm sure you've got the time to do that effectively. So, what do I need you to do? Complete your notes on the McNorden article, but also keep building those schemas. Here's the third of 3 different videos on the key departments. This one's on the Foreign Office. Definitely worth a watch. Stay strong.